Hello, this is Yuda, a Japanese immigration lawyer. Today, I'll be talking about the reasons why spouse visa applications may be denied in Japan. When a foreign national marries a Japanese person and wants to live together in Japan, they apply for a spouse visa. This is quite a common situation. However, one important thing to note is that getting married does not automatically guarantee a spouse visa. In other words, marriage is not equal to spouse visa. To obtain a spouse visa, you must prove that you and your partner can maintain a stable, continuous, and genuine marital life in Japan, and that you are financially secure. Today, I'll go over some of the most common reasons for visa denial. If you're planning to apply, please take note to reduce your risk of refusal. The first point is when the credibility of the marriage is in question. In international marriages, one common red flag is a large age difference between the spouses. While such cases are rare between two Japanese nationals, we often see a 20 to 30-year age gap in international couples. From the immigration authorities' perspective, this can raise suspicions of a marriage for visa purposes. If there is a big age gap, you should provide detailed explanations of how you met, how your relationship developed, and how you decided to marry. It also helps to submit evidence such as photos, line message history, or social media records to support your story. Another issue is multiple marriages and divorces with foreign nationals. If someone has married and divorced 3 or 4 times with foreign partners, immigration might question the authenticity of the relationship. Short dating periods or minimal face-to-face interaction can also lead to suspicion. Even among Japanese couples, some may marry quickly, in a few weeks or even days, but in the context of visa applications, this can look suspicious. Generally, it's safer if the couple has been together for at least 6 months. If your dating period is shorter, provide more detailed background and more evidence. The next issue is financial instability. You need to demonstrate that you can live stably and continuously in Japan from a financial perspective. If you're a full-time employee or an executive with a stable income, there shouldn't be a problem. However, if both spouses are unemployed or if the income is very low, for example, just 1 million yen per year from part-time jobs, there is a high risk of denial. Japan cannot approve visas for those who might depend on welfare, seikatsu hogo in Japanese. If your income is low, you must prove that you can still live in Japan through other means, such as having significant savings, stocks, or other financial assets, or receiving support from a family member with stable income, for example, 5 to 6 million yen annually. Also, if you're currently on welfare, unfortunately, your spouse visa will not be approved. You will need to terminate welfare support, secure stable income, and then apply for the visa. Next, let's talk about issues with the applicant's immigration record. Applicant here refers to the foreign spouse applying for the visa. For example, if you were previously a student in Japan but did not attend school, failed to earn credits, or had poor attendance and are now trying to switch to a spouse visa to avoid having to leave Japan, this may be viewed unfavorably. Also, working over the permitted hours on a student or dependent visa, more than 28 hours per week, is a violation. If someone is working 40 hours a week while on a visa that allows only 28 hours, this is considered a serious overwork violation. If the applicant has a criminal record, that too can be a reason for denial. Finally, applicants who are currently under refugee application status need to be extra careful. Refugee recognition rates in Japan are extremely low, less than 10%. So if a person files for refugee status, gets rejected, and then suddenly marries a Japanese citizen to apply for a spouse visa, immigration will examine this case very strictly. So if you are under refugee status and are now trying to apply for a spouse visa, you need to be aware of the extra scrutiny. Alright, that's about it. To sum it up, there are 3 main things you need in order to get your spouse visa approved. First, you need to prove that your marriage is real and credible, not just for the sake of getting a visa. Second, you have to show that you're financially stable, meaning you won't have trouble supporting your life in Japan. And third, the applicant needs to have a clean immigration record, no major problems or violations in the past. If you properly prepare and submit documents to prove these 3 things, then you have a good chance of getting your visa approved. However, if there are issues with any one of these 3 points, your application is very likely to be denied. So it's really important to check everything carefully before applying and make sure there are no red flags. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.